Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Sean McCoy joins us with Silver Mountain Law. We're talking marijuana lounges and clean air. Coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're pleased to welcome to the program for the first time Sean McCoy with Silver Mountain Law. Pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you, Sam.
We're going to talk about your article in Nevada Lawyer, which has some interesting analysis around what's going on with marijuana lounges. And let's lay out on the table, first of all, what we actually have in practice in southern Nevada. So there are 2 dispensaries that have marijuana lounges adjacent, but not connected. You can't buy the product in the dispensary and then walk it over to the lounge. You have to buy the product in the lounge specifically. And then there is a 3rd casino in downtown Las Vegas. It's a Native American tribe casino. And they have none of the rules that really apply to them for the rules that are applying to everybody else, correct?
Right.
Okay. So one of the issues that you raised, the main one, is that there's a conflict here, apparently, between the Clean Air Act and marijuana lounges. So would you lay out the case?
Sure. I'd love to. I think what would help is just to kind of identify, in 2006, the voters supported the elimination of smoke in places of employment and restaurants. So
right.
That was the creation of the Nevada Clean Indoor Air Act, and it applied to tobacco smoking. That's the focus. Where we switched things up is in 2019 in an attempt to go after things that were beyond tobacco, vaping, e-cigarettes. The legislature went in actually removed the word tobacco from smoking tobacco and just left the word smoking in there, and then added a definition to smoking. And that definition includes the vaping, the e-cigarettes, liquid, and any plant product. And it's that component of plant product of the definition that applies to cannabis, which is a plant. That specific prohibition was not squared when we authorized cannabis consumption lounges in 2021. So you have that definition that clearly applies to any plant, But then you also have a very specific provision in the Nevada Clean Indoor Air Act that was there in 2006 and remains there today, which says any statute or regulation inconsistent with this section is null and void. And so you have a kind of a disconnect between the Nevada Clean Indoor Air Act and the cannabis consumption lounge regulations and statute that authorize smoking, only the smoking component, in places of employment and what may be a restaurant, depending on whether they serve food.
Right. And I believe at least one of those lounges does serve food. And then I think the other one has food trucks outside.
Right.
So, I mean, this is complex and fascinating. I mean, the first one is, why at this point do we not have ventilation systems in casinos, period, that remove the smoke? Because the technology is available, correct?
Yes. I can't speak to why they wouldn't have particular sets. I do know the Cannabis Compliance Board has regulations that outline specific types of ventilation systems that must be in play to allow smoking in a cannabis consumption lounge. It has to be in a specialized, separated room that is walled off, glass, doors that auto-close, seals, between the doors, everything they can possibly do to prevent secondhand smoke from escaping that room. They also have to have specialized ventilation, with technology, outlined in the regulations to try to eliminate, as much of that secondhand smoke and that odor as possible. Why casinos wouldn't choose, or cannabis consumption lounges wouldn't have higher technology, I can't say, but I don't know anybody who's walked into a casino and hasn't smelled smoke. I mean, it's just
right, it's way less than it used to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know I have a lot of friends who say, well, we don't like to go to restaurants and casinos because of the smoke, but truthfully, I don't smoke anymore, and it's been years. And for the 2 seconds that I walk past somebody who's smoking or some area where there's smoke, it really doesn't bother me. So I don't think that's as big a concern. But it just seems so bizarre that this wasn't, and I guess this is part of regulation, right?
Sure.
Which is you don't know what you don't know going in. You come up, Tick Seger-Bloom has been pushing this for years, and finally gets this on the table. Finally, we get them in operation, and that's when you start to figure out what the issues might be. So, where are we at this point in time? I mean, are there lawsuits being filed against these lounges? Is there a discussion beyond the discussion you have raised in the magazine article?
I have I've not heard of any lawsuits. I've not heard of any discussion. It's interesting, the Nevada Clean Indoor Air Act actually mandates that the health associations and the law enforcement of the cities, towns, and the sheriffs enforce the provisions of the Nevada Clean Indoor Air Act. I'm not aware of any law enforcement that's ever attempted to do so. I know the health districts, we have SNID down in Las Vegas, the Southern Nevada Health District. We also have up here in North, I think they've rebranded Northern Nevada Public Health. If you go to their websites, there's no discussion of cannabis. And the mindset has been expressed from some of the people who've worked there that I've spoken to is that cannabis is cannabis, compliance board. We're not touching cannabis. We're just going to focus on tobacco. And if you look at their websites, you'll see there's no discussion of cannabis on there. Even when they talk about 2019, the focus is on tobacco and e-cigarettes and vapor, not about plant products, which would also include marijuana. So I don't know that anybody's trying to enforce this, and I certainly don't know anybody that's suing. I think everybody's very supportive of the idea, the notion that maybe something was overlooked or we have a potential conflict. I don't know too many people are talking about it yet.
Well, one of the other things too is that these lounges are, it seems to me, trying to do everything they possibly can to not run afoul of the law. For example, allowing patrons to leave their cars parked in their parking lots overnight so they can take an Uber home if they don't feel comfortable to drive. If you go into, I don't know how many people have been into dispensaries that are native Nevadans, or locals, but I've been to several dispensaries, and the thing that is surprising is there is no odor of marijuana in there. I don't know how that all works, but I mean, you can go into a dispensary to buy products, and it's a very clinical setting for the most part. There is one of the places that has a lounge in Vegas. Was it Planet 13? I mean, that's a party atmosphere. But again, when you go in, they have lots of different things within that building. We've done stories out of there. But it's not where you suddenly get hit by the smell of marijuana. So it's, I've come across the smell of marijuana close to casinos and in corridors of casino hotels more than I have where I would think it'd be an issue.
Right.
Doesn't law enforcement also have to take a position where, hey, we got crime to take care of. This is not the biggest thing on our agenda. Because, I mean, they've done that with marijuana for years, where it just wasn't a priority unless it was an issue.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And I think the move to decriminalization has kind of helped, refocus those efforts as well. I think what you're seeing now is going to be more about public health enforcement, not, are we trying to criminalize the act of using cannabis? It's more the public health impact of secondhand smoke on people that are around it where it's being used improperly, just as we would with tobacco.
Okay, but now that raises another interesting issue, which is there a negative quotient to secondhand marijuana smoke? We say that there is, regarding tobacco, but is that something that has been proven, that if you are around somebody who is smoking marijuana, that you're in any more concerned than walking past somebody who has a fireplace?
I don't know about those two scenarios. Fireplace. I think generally organizations like American Cancer Society, other places that look into the effects of secondhand smoke are finding that there are negative impacts. Some study I think indicated that it could be even worse than the tobacco secondhand smoke. But I think the research is still too early because you have to keep in mind, at least in Nevada, we went in a very quick time from medical to recreational to public consumption.
Do you really think it was in a record amount? I mean, record amount of time in the judicial process is over a decade.
Yeah. I think this was really fast. I do,
really?
From a legislative standpoint that meets every other year, I really do. And I think that's attributed to the people behind it. I mean, they were really pushing for this. I don't think this was something that was a slow process. I really think that it came fast, and I think that's also in line with public perception. I think the public support of it. I mean, in 2016. Majority of voters said, yeah, we want a recreational cannabis use in this state. We don't want this just medical anymore. And I think that's a sign of Nevada's kind of progressive view towards cannabis and the benefits that they see, at least for personal use or maybe even tax benefit for the state.
I remember when I first came to the United States to live in 1974. I was working as the world's worst gopher on a construction crew. And one of the carpenters on that construction crew had just gotten out of jail, serving 2 years in Marin County for possession of one joint. And that was stunning to me. And this was the gentlest, sweetest guy, sure. But that's where we were with marijuana in 1974. And so, I'm not in any way against these lounges. And I think that the businesses that are doing things like saying, hey, you can leave your car overnight, and whatever other things they do to make sure their patrons are safe is smart, and the education they can give to their bud tenders to give out solid advice to the customers is all good. And I think that what may be surprising to me, I don't know about to other people, was just how large this market became so quickly. I mean, you go to marijuana dispensaries in Reno, and there's a line out the door. There's no room in the parking lots. Right. And you see every piece of society, from younger folks around 21 to senior citizens taking care of their aches and pains. So, I mean, and the black market yet still thrives.
Of course.
So why do you say course? Just pricing?
Sure. I mean, there's always going to be a black market. I think it's this. There's a fallacy where we think if we legalize something, the need or the desire to make money off that without the tax industry is going to go away. I don't know that that's ever been proven out. There's always going to be that market there.
What about hooch? I mean, you know, given the choice between, because that's been a discussion point, you know, a couple of years ago was, you know, is the black market going to go away? Because, you know, if you have a choice between going to the liquor store and buying a bottle of vodka versus buying a bottle of hooch from Charlie on the corner, for most people, which direction are they going to go?
Sure, but alcohol's also been around and legalized for a very long time. You've got an entire industry set up to where you can have it delivered to your door. I know we're starting some of that, you know, perhaps in Nevada, right?
No, you know, in California, you want marijuana,
right.
You get on the phone as long as you've got your ID and all the rest. Because there are some counties where they can't set up stores.
Right.
So delivery is already
sure.
Active there. I don't know about how that operates in Reno.
I don't, yeah.
Or Vegas, for that matter.
Right, that might be more of the black market area. But it's.
So do you know that for a fact that delivery is not legal at this point in Nevada?
I'm not aware of legalized, you know, but I haven't. I'll be honest, I haven't looked into it enough from the delivery standpoint. You know, my recollection was that it was still going to be dispensary. You know, you come in, but you know, I do see that is a potential something that they're going to look into. You know, I would imagine going forward.
I mean, you got Uber Eats.
You do.
Mean, how far down the road is Uber pot?
If Uber will bring alcohol, I mean, if they'll bring all these other things, and you know, I don't see why not. I think, you know, even after the repeal of prohibition, you still had people who were running moonshine.
Right.
My in-laws did this in California, and I've heard, you know, wondrous tales of them outrunning law enforcement and having their alcohol in the wood piles. So I still think, you know, and that's a cute part of Americana history, but we're dealing with, I think, larger, you know, illegal market for cannabis, and I don't know that that's just going to go away with the legalization. And I don't know.
And I think you're right, but I mean, I think it depends to an extent on whether the cartels or the individual growers who are growing this for the black market, if they start killing people versus, you know, that's one of the things that has happened, that who from the 60s knew that there were problems with the quality of marijuana and pesticides and all this other stuff. Right. And so, you know, a lot of things have been brought to light. Let's take a break. We'll come back much more with Sean McCoy. Fascinating topic here about marijuana after this time out.
Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you. But we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job. serving you. Safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators. From the exotic to the everyday. Trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Sean McCoy, a fascinating conversation with Silver Mountain Law. He has a great article in Nevada Lawyer about marijuana and the Clean Air Act, and he's been a big supporter of the Indoor Clean Air Act over the years. So there's a number of other things around this. So at some point, do you think that the federal government is going to finally come to their senses and realize that there's a ton of tax money available if they legalize this federally, and also the issues that go along with legalization federally?
I do. I think it's untenable to have as many states as we have that are legalizing cannabis or looking to legalize cannabis, and not have the feds do something about that. It was one
in
thing,
terms of legalizing.
In terms, exactly. In terms of kind of addressing the classification, legalizing. Many states have moved to decriminalize, but when you still have the feds saying, "Yeah, this is a violation."
Schedule 1.
Here, it's not doing anything for all these states that have legitimate business interests that want to do banking, that want to protect up their financial interests. Something has to be done, and I think it's a little overdue. I think we've waited a little too long for the feds to do something. I don't think you're getting legalized cannabis back. It's the floodgates are open. There's just too much money on the table.
Mary Lau says that the minute they legalize this on a federal level, that the best marijuana lounges are going to be in the hotel casinos right opposite the buffet. And the buffet will be $100 a plate.
That's frightening.
Why is it frightening?
To me, to have, I grew up in a house, with a smoker. So I grew up, I was in utero with smoke. I was very familiar with smoke in the house. I do not miss eating at a restaurant and having any kind of smoke.
Right, but don't you think that they would separate all that? I mean, that's where the ventilation system
is going to have to. I don't think the
to
technology's there yet.
But look at the airport. Look at the Vegas airport. You've got that room,
yes,
where you can smoke.
Yes.
And I walk past that, and I just think to myself, "Oh my goodness, those poor people. Do they not realize what they're doing?" But that's their business.
Absolutely.
It's not mine.
I'm not anti-cannabis by any measure. If I had to pick, I'd say I'm anti-smoke if it's impacting me or my family. If you can
Which is fair enough.
Right. If you can go in one of those boxes and keep the smoke to yourself, have at it. I just haven't seen that successful in any of the casinos to date. You can't go to a buffet. They've got the nice partitions in the walls, but it's not sealed.
But it's coming. And it's coming.
I hope they recognize.
I mean, there's articles this past week of other jurisdictions that are looking at this again. And there was a poll that I think the Review Journal put out that was talking about, how many people are comfortable with smoke in casinos, and the percentages of people who are not comfortable keeps going up.
Absolutely.
How would it affect the bottom line? So, I mean, I think it's coming. But hang on, we'll take one more break and we'll be right back.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
7 at 7 is a newscast built for your smartphone. It's a 7-minute newscast available every weekday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. at lvrj.com. We don't waste your time, and we give you the day's top stories.
We at the RJ have noticed some similarities between us and a certain BTS character, RJ.
Plus the latest in Las Vegas business, weather, health, and entertainment news. 7 at 7 streaming now on your smartphone.
Turn your clunker into a caddy during the Cadillac and Cash giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Weekly cash drawings including $5,000 cash and one top prize of $10,000. Win the grand prize of a Cadillac CT4 or $40,000 in cash. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Sean McCoy of Silver Mountain Law. We're talking about marijuana smoke in consumption lounges. So where do you feel this is going? Do you think that the Clean Air Act supporters like yourself are going to force this issue?
I don't think you're going to see that. I don't think people are going to force this issue. I think it's something the legislature would need to do just to kind of clarify this issue. And I don't know there's a strong push to do that right now.
We shall see. Hey, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for
I really appreciate it. It was a great article. If people want to find it, it's in Nevada Lawyer, the current edition, and very illuminating. And I'm going to be visiting with County Commissioner Tick Segerblum, the godfather of marijuana, in a couple of weeks in Vegas, and we'll bring this topic up. So thank you for raising it.
All right, thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Calamity. It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around every corner, with locations around the valley. UMC Quick Care, for all your small calamities.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. You can catch us online 24 hours a day at nevadanewsmakers.com, or you can download the podcast wherever you like to get your podcast. We'll see you on the next broadcast.